Good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream, and today is January the 3rd. I'm going to do your Just for Today in a meditation. I hope you're having a very beautiful day, a beautiful morning. Let's get into the meditation. Okay, it is entitled Our Greatest Need. We eventually redefine our beliefs and understanding to the point where we see that our greatest need is for the knowledge of God's will for us and the strength to carry that out. That is taken from the basic text, page 48. We're talking about the 11th step here. When we first arrived in NA, we had all kinds of ideals of what we needed. Some of us set our sights on amassing personal possessions. We thought recovery equaled outward success. But recovery does not equal success. Today, we believe that our greatest need is for spiritual guidance and strength. The greatest damage done to us by our addiction was the damage done to our spirituality. Our primary motivation was dictated by our disease to get, to use, and to find ways and means to get more. Enslaved by our overwhelming need for drugs, our lives lacked purpose and connection. We were spiritually bankrupt. Sooner or later, we realized that our greatest need in recovery is for knowledge of God's will for us and the strength to carry that out. There we find the direction and sense of purpose our addiction had hidden from us. In our God's will, we find freedom from self-will. No longer driven only by our needs, we are free to live with others on an equal footing. There's nothing wrong with outward success, but without the spiritual connection offered by the NA program, our greatest need in recovery goes unmet, regardless of how successful we may be. Just for today, I will seek the fulfillment of my greatest need, a vital guiding connection with the God of my understanding. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. This is a very serious meditation. Oh, of course, we can read through it really fast and blow it off, especially if we don't have a higher power, or we don't believe in God, or the God word bothers us. And I just want to say, if it does, just make it an acronym, good orderly direction. We need to really understand that the greatest disservice that happened, the greatest thing that happened during our disease of addiction wasn't just that we lost family, or they stopped trusting us, or we were disconnected from loved ones, or we lost money, or our education pummeled. That is not the greatest loss. The greatest loss is that we lost ourselves. Nothing mattered to us anymore. Our social skills were reduced to animalistic levels. We didn't have the capacity to admit that we felt anything or even really feel on a deep level. Everything was superficial because it needed to be. in order to push forward with a disease of addiction and continue to chase that next one, many of us had to disconnect from our spirit, disconnect from our souls in order to be able to do the type of things that were necessary for us to get one more. So, with that being said, some of the wreckage or the dead bodies in the path that we swirled through like a Tasmanian devil, swirling really fast, wrecking everything in our path, some of that wreckage that we caused with our disease of addiction is very serious in nature. Well, we need to make amends for a lot of that, but we get to that in our step 8 and 9. However, the person or the one thing that was damaged the most is ourselves. And yeah, and I get it. I believe parents will say the greatest harm I caused was to my children. That's perfect for a parent to say. It's almost like an expectation if you're a parent that you would say that because we have like a self-sacrificing and unconditional love for our children. And the harm that we cause in our disease of addiction sometimes is the very thing that keeps us from stopping because we don't want to face the music on that level. So I get that. If you say no, the greatest harm was my children, to my children, I get that. But at the end of the day, you had to harm yourself first before you could even harm them. You had to disconnect from your heart, from your compassion, your basic human emotions for you to even get to the stage where they were affected. For some of you, that might be hard to hear. So if that's the greatest damage, doesn't it stand to reason that one of the greatest gains that we will get, our greatest need, is actually our restoration of our spirit, the restoration of our spirituality, the restoration of our love, our forgiveness, our ability to be loyal. These are different spiritual principles that we totally disconnected from because they interrupted what we need to do. We're no longer in that flow anymore. We're in a very mighty flow. We're in a very mighty stream of love and peace and happiness and contentedness and service and goodwill and loyalty, integrity, accountability, responsibility, accessibility, community, fellowship, and friendship. We're in a total different flow today. The greatest need we have is for our spirits to be restored so that we can have a connection with our higher power. And our higher power, the God of our own understanding, is now able to release and communicate with us through prayer and meditation, especially meditation. Instructions, the things that we need to do for our spirits to remain or become better and more peaceful. I'm hoping that today is the day for some of you to be able to go into a meditative state with your God, with your higher power, whatever, whoever, or however. And do a double check. Make sure that you are spiritually connected in the manner that you need to be. That's going to look different for a lot of different people. I was saying yesterday in a meeting that it seemed like my spirituality or my relationship with my God, it changes. It's like a shapeshifter. On one day, Depending on what's going on with me, my higher power will speak to me through the children. Sometimes my higher power will speak to me through the ocean waves. Sometimes my higher power will communicate to me through my doing service. Sometimes my higher power will communicate to me through people doing service for me. It changes. But check this out. The reason why I can say that is because I actually have a relationship with my higher power. I actually have a relationship with the God of my understanding that works, that I understand today. So if for whatever reason the God of my understanding shifts into communicating in a different form than my dreams and visions, right? If my higher power changes the way that he communicates with me, I'm attentive. You ever seen a baby that is looking for his mother's breast milk? Like, generally speaking, the baby knows where to find the milk. And that baby keeps its eye on its mother. Very attentive. She could just be cleaning the house. That baby is following with its eyes its mother. And that's how my relationship is with the God of my understanding. And that's what you want your relationship to be like, where you're so attentive in the spirit to your relationship with your higher power that you don't miss. If you do, it happens. I get distracted. The radio station in my head is not always on point. There's a little static here and there. But best believe Mighty Stream knows how to correct that. And you want the same thing. You've been in the flow of the stream today, and I'll need you to get out there and do something mighty. Let January 3rd be the best January 3rd that you have ever lived. Make it a great day. Make it a great day on purpose. And I will be talking to you tomorrow.